Well, hello everyone and welcome to today's video. I'm very excited for today's video because we are going to be talking about urban legends that actually turned out to be true. I thought this would be a really fun topic to cover because while we do cover a lot of stuff on this channel about urban legends, conspiracy theories, supernatural things, Mandela effects, what have you, oftentimes I give the disclaimer that, oh, this is just a legend, or oh, this is internet lore, like it's probably not true, or I leave it open-ended, like what do you guys think? We don't know if it's true or not. Do you believe the lore? Do you not? So I thought this would be really fun because these urban legends actually turned out to be true. So a little bit different, a little bit of a switch up instead of the normal, like, leave it to your own interpretation type video. So I'm very excited to be discussing these. If you guys want to see more videos like this, then please let me know in the comments below. But other than that, let's just get into it. We are going to be talking about the alligators in the sewers of New York. Now, this is a popular phrase, and if you've ever heard it before, you may have assumed that it is just an urban legend or some sort of legend with no truth behind it, especially since New York is one of the most densely populated states, and where would there be room for alligators, especially with so many people being there? How would nobody have seen them? And obviously, how could alligators even survive in a sewer system? So that definitely added to the fact that people did not believe that this was real. Now, this story dates back almost a century ago. According to this legend, wealthy New Yorkers would vacation in Florida and they would bring home baby alligators back to New York where they lived as exotic pets. Obviously that still happens today in certain areas. I'm not sure about that happening in New York, but we know that there are exotic pet owners in the States. So I guess that started a long time ago. Now, obviously the issue was when they would bring back these baby alligators, the babies don't stay babies forever. And the story continues that once the babies became too large or too violent and difficult to manage, the owners would supposedly flush them down their toilets, or they would dump them into storm drains. Obviously, if they were too large to flush down the toilet, you get it. From there, you can imagine what happened. The story goes that the alligators ended up adapting to the sewer system and ended up living there. They basically adapted to the life underground and began living and thriving in the sewer systems of New York. And for decades, people treated this like an absolute joke. There was no truth behind it. No one believed that this actually happened, or if it did, that alligators survived being dumped in the sewers. It even ended up becoming one of America's more famous or like more popular urban legends. But then things got a little bit interesting because in 1935, there were several boys who actually spotted a live alligator emerging from a sewer opening in East Harlem. Workers went on to eventually capture the animal, and newspapers even reported this bizarre incident. And then over the years, additional alligators have actually been found throughout New York City in drainage systems, parks, and waterways. Basically, the almost century-old claim that alligators have been found in New York sewer systems is true. Of course, the urban legend exaggerated the details and probably embellished the story, but the point of the story actually factually happened, which is crazy. But let me know what you guys think about that one in the comments below. Have you ever seen an alligator in New York? This next legend we're going to be talking about is going to be about the hidden underground city of Turkey. So for generations, there's been local stories that have basically detailed these vast underground cities in Turkey, and come to find out there was some actual truth behind it. The truth behind this urban legend was actually discovered by a homeowner in Turkey who was doing some renovations. He knocked down a wall in his home when he was doing renovations, and instead of finding the typical like pipes or whatever you find inside walls that you knock down, he discovered a tunnel that ended up leading to an ancient city. Can you imagine behind the wall in your own home? Wow. And the passageway ended up leading to a huge network of tunnels and chambers, and archaeologists said it was unlike anything they had ever seen before. This discovery revealed the underground city, which is now known as Derinkuyu. I hope I'm saying that right, Derinkuyu. I really apologize if I'm saying that wrong. And it wasn't just caves or little, I don't know, things that were carved out. It was a fully functioning city built beneath the earth. The more archaeologists and researchers explored, the more astonishing this discovery became. It was truly incredible and unlike anything they had ever seen before. The city even stretched multiple levels underground. It had things like living quarters, food storage rooms, churches, wells, ventilation shafts, and even areas for livestock. So you can imagine how massive this was. Some estimates say that as many as 20,000 people could have lived there at one time. That would be like an entire community and city of people living beneath the surface and hidden from the outside world in this underground city. It's so crazy. How would you even build something like that? Many historians do believe that the city was used as a refuge during invasions and periods of conflict. There was massive stone doors that could be rolled into place to seal off entrances and protect the people that were inside. And another thing that makes this discovery so fascinating is that the stories about the hidden underground cities had circulated for years and years and years, but people just thought it was a myth like anything else. And people dismissed them as folklore, legends, didn't believe it at all. And the whole time beneath the ground, it was one of the largest and most impressive underground settlements that has ever been discovered. It's crazy because this legend turned out to be true. Have you guys ever heard of this underground city before? Because I hadn't before looking into this, and I just thought it was so crazy. I'd love to literally go there and like walk through, like, how do you build a city underground? I don't know. But what do you guys think of that? Now, speaking of doing home renovations and discovering hidden entrances and secret passageways and tunnels and caves, this next legend that we're going to talk about that turned out to be true is the Winchester Mystery House. You may have heard of this before. It's pretty popular. Now, there's so many haunted house stories and urban legends involving the supernatural, especially in the United States. And most of them do involve like ghost stories or something to do with like the local folklore of the area. But the Winchester Mystery House is a lot different because the strange details that people talk about are actually real, and this really happened or really exists. So the story begins with this woman named Sarah Winchester, and she is the widow of William Winchester. Now, Sarah had a lot of tragic things that happened in her life, and after experiencing a lot of these tragedies, she reportedly became very convinced that she was being haunted by the spirits of people who were killed by her husband's firearm company. According to the legend, she even saw a psychic who told her that she needed to continue building her home indefinitely to appease all of these spirits that were haunting her. So the psychic even told her that she was being haunted. Now, this is a legend. No one really knows if that part of the story is true. But what is true is the house itself. So the construction of this house began in the late 1800s and it continued for decades. So it was not a quick project. Obviously, back in the day, nothing was a quick project, but this was exponentially longer than it took to build a typical house in that time. And this home ended up being one of the most unusual homes ever built, especially for that time period. When you enter the home, there were staircases that led directly to ceilings, so staircases to nowhere basically. There were doors that opened to drop-offs, like you would just walk through the door and like fall stories down. There was windows placed at odd locations, hidden passageways, secret rooms, just anything you can think of that would be in this house that's not normal was in there. The hallways did not seem to make sense. Many visitors often assumed that these stories related to the layout of the home were very exaggerated. But then they would take a tour of the house and discover that no, it was in fact very real. The bizarre architecture of the home itself is indeed very real. Even today, the Winchester Mystery House contains hundreds of rooms. Think of that, hundreds of rooms. This place is huge and remains one of America's most famous tourist attractions. No one knows exactly why Sarah Winchester decided to build her house this way. People debate about it. Some people believe that she simply just really enjoyed architecture and constant renovation and it was just fun for her. Others think that her grief and her fears surrounding being haunted played a huge role in that. And whatever the explanation is, the story of the house's strange design were not just made up out of nowhere. It really exists. Okay guys, and that's it for this round of urban legends that turned out to be true. It's so crazy how an urban legend can start from maybe a story or a theory and kind of take off from there. While some urban legends sometimes begin with like a small grain of truth, I think it was super fun to kind of dive into these that turned out to be super true and discuss the details surrounding it. But let me know what you guys think below. Did you like this form of video? If so, let me know. If there's any urban legends you would like me to discuss, true or not, or speculated, also let me know in the comments below. I love hearing your guys' suggestions. Obviously, I want to do the videos that you want to see, but I really hope you enjoyed this one. It was a little bit of a different type of video for me as far as the topic and really fun to learn about and discuss. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments below and I'll see you next time. Bye!